A VPN, short for Virtual Private Network, is a privacy protection tool that is quickly becoming a must-have. But why do you need a VPN, and how does it work in the first place? A VPN helps your data travel through the internet safely, without big companies or cybercriminals being able to spy on your online activities. Also, a VPN swaps the real location of your device with a new one. This way, you can virtually travel to any country around the globe. So, who can benefit from a VPN? If you're worried about your online privacy, a VPN makes sure your identity and private information are not exposed when you go online. If digital security is your top priority, a VPN gives a nice additional layer of security. It encrypts your data so nobody could see what you send and receive. If you are a human rights activist whose freedom of speech is restricted, a VPN helps you to bypass censorship and speak to the world. Or, if you're on holiday in another country, with a VPN, you can bring your home entertainment anywhere you go. Here's a pro tip: check out Surfshark VPN. It has everything you need in a premium VPN, awesome speeds, and industry-leading protection that covers all of your devices. All you have to do is click connect. Secure your digital life and enjoy everything good that the internet has to offer with a VPN you can trust.
Click link in the description and get 81% discount for your first order. Refinishing rusty metal furniture. Spread a non-slip drop cloth on the ground where you'll be working. Choose a day that's warm, partly sunny, and has no rain in the forecast. Avoid painting on a day that's too windy or in an area with constant direct sunlight, because the paint can dry too fast and its lifespan can be reduced. Keep a few cinder blocks or blocks of wood on hand for elevating the pieces of furniture without tipping them over. Place the furniture you will be painting onto the center of the drop cloth to avoid getting paint onto your grass, driveway, or patio. If you're working indoors, for example your garage, be sure that there's plenty of ventilation so you don't get sick from chemical fumes. Use a wire brush to scrape off rust and loose paint. Scrub off loose and flaky paint the best you can with a 3 inches 7.6 cm rectangular wire brush. Wire brush. Wire brush, wire brush, wire brush, wire brush, wire brush. Try to get all the loose pieces. Scrub as much of the rust as you can with the brush. 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 With the brush, with the... Don't remove all the paint from the furniture, just the loose pieces that are near where the paint is chipped or bubbled. You may not be able to remove all the rust with the brush, 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 with the... Just get through the top layers to make your next steps easier. Elevating your chair or table on blocks during this step can help you see any spots of rust or loose paint down near the leg bottoms. Use muriatic acid or another rust remover to get areas of stubborn rust. If all your rust doesn't come off with just the brush, you'll need to apply some rust remover such as muriatic, phosphoric, or hydrochloric acid. Rust remover products are available at your local hardware store. Apply some solution with a towel while wearing gloves and eye protection to the rusted areas according to your product's instructions. Use an old towel that you're comfortable throwing away after finishing this step. Continue using the wire brush to scrub rust off the areas where you've applied rust remover. Instead of using rust remover chemicals, you can use an orbital sander with grit 120 sandpaper to remove stubborn rust. Again, wear gloves and eye protection, and follow all manufacturer instructions on your sander. Clean your chair with soap and water. Once your furniture is rust-free, you'll want to clean off any remaining dust or chemicals. Fill a bucket with warm soapy water and add some dish detergent. Clean your furniture by dunking a sponge in your soapy water and wiping the dust and chemicals away. If you're working on a grassy area, and you used chemicals to remove the rust, consider moving your furniture to the driveway or other non-grassy area so the chemicals don't soak through the drop cloth and damage your grass. Dry your furniture thoroughly with a towel. Don't allow moisture to sit for too long on any bare metal, as it can quickly start to rust again. Take some old towels and work quickly to dry your clean furniture, even if it is only slightly damp. Apply a rust converter solution to your furniture. Rust converters contain polymers and tannic acid that will chemically convert any trace bits of rust into an iron tannate, which will coat and protect your metal from accidentally rust lodged in tight corners. Spray your rust converter in a thin layer on your furniture, if it comes in a spray can, or with a paint brush if it's in a can. You can find rust converter solutions at most hardware stores near the paint and stain section. Buy rust-inhibiting spray primer and paint. Most paints for exterior metal are rust-inhibiting. You can find ones that combine the primer and paint, allowing you to just paint once. If you don't buy a product that's both primer and paint, be sure to get the primer separately and apply it before painting. Some exterior paint products are labeled universal. These are ideal if your furniture has pieces of plastic in them that you'd like to paint along with the metal. You have the option of using cans of exterior rust-inhibiting paint and a brush. It can just be more difficult to get all the small details and corners of the furniture than spray painting. Apply your spray paint in a thin, even coat. Shake the can for about 30 seconds and hold it 6-10 inches 15-25 cm away from your furniture. Smoothly move from left to right for horizontal sections and top to bottom from vertical sections while pressing the nozzle firmly. Move quickly to avoid getting too much paint in one spot and having it drip or run. Allow your furniture to dry for 45 minutes between coats. You may want to apply more than one coat of paint to your furniture to get the color exactly how you want or to cover any missed spots. This is fine. Just allow 45 minutes for your paint to dry between coats to reduce the chances that it will dry unevenly and chip later. Give your finished furniture 24 hours to dry. Once you've finished painting your furniture, allow it to dry for 24 hours before placing cushions back on it or using it. Then invite your friends over for a barbecue and show them what a great job you did refurnishing your patio furniture. Rejuvenating wood patio furniture. Sand your furniture with 220 grit sandpaper. Before painting, you'll want to get as much of the bare wood exposed as possible. You can do this by sanding manually with 220 grit sandpaper, though it is faster to use an electric sander. If you use an electric sander, be sure to sand lightly and evenly to avoid chipping your wood. Do not press down hard on any one spot of your wood with an electric sander. This can cause chips and uneven spots in your wood. Move quickly and lightly over the wood, moving immediately from a spot when you can see the bare wood. Always wear gloves and eye protection when operating electric tools and follow the manufacturer instructions. Wipe down your furniture after sanding. Get the sand dust off your furniture by wiping it down with a wet cloth. Rinse your cloth in a bucket of clean water and change the water as needed. Allow your furniture to dry completely for 12 hours before priming. Select an outdoor wood sealer/primer. Outdoor wooden furniture always needs a primer that contains sealer so that the wood doesn't rot as it gets wet. Some brands of sealer/primer produce a gritty finish. If this happens, you'll need to re-sand lightly to get the furniture back to being smooth. You can find wood primer/sealers for outdoors in the exterior paint section at your local hardware store. Prepare your working area by laying a drop cloth down and placing the piece of furniture you're painting on the center of it. Spray or brush on your primer in one thin, even coat. If you're spraying it on, hold the can 6-10 inches 15-25 cm from the furniture and move in quick, even strokes to cover the surface. If you're brushing it on, just one thin coat applied in the direction of the wood grain will be plenty. Allow the primer to dry completely. Follow the recommended dry time on the back of your primer before moving on to painting. Check to see if there is a gritty finish on your furniture from the primer. If so, sand it lightly by hand with 220 grit sandpaper just to get the wood smooth again. Paint your furniture with exterior paint of any color. Spray paint or brush on the first thin layer of your paint. If you're using spray paint, hold the can 10 inches 25 cm from the furniture and move in quick, smooth strokes to get an even coat. For painting with a brush, dip the brush in the paint can and allow excess paint to drip off before applying the paint in a thin layer in the direction of the wood grain. Allow the first layer to dry for at least 45 minutes before adding another layer, and allow that same amount of time between any subsequent layers you paint. Be sure to get every nook and cranny of the furniture, including the joints, underneath, and the bottoms of the legs. When you're all finished, allow your paint to dry for the recommended time on the back of the paint before applying your final protective finish. Apply a polyurethane finish to protect your painted furniture. Painted wood maintains well if it has a polyurethane top coat to protect it. Brush on a thin layer of polyurethane top coat after your paint layers are fully dry, and allow your finished furniture to dry for at least 24 hours before using it. Repaint your furniture every 1 minute to 2 years if necessary. Wooden outdoor furniture generally wears out the fastest, especially if it is exposed to rain and snow. Check for signs that your furniture paint is cracking or chipping in about 1 minute to 2 years. If it is, repeat the steps in this section to get them looking nice and new again. Painting plastic tables and chairs, chairs and chairs and chairs and chairs and chairs and chairs. Clean your furniture with soapy water. Using a bucket of warm soapy water and a sponge, wipe down the entire surface of your furniture. Be sure to get all the small crevices and corners free of dirt. If your furniture is very dirty, change the bucket of water as it becomes darker with dirt. Allow your furniture to dry fully in the sun for a couple of hours. Place a drop cloth over your working area. To protect your grass or driveway from paint, lay a drop cloth down and place the furniture you're painting onto the center of it. As each piece of furniture begins to dry, move it off the drop cloth and put the next piece of furniture onto it. Select outdoor universal paint for your furniture. Any type of universal paint will work on your plastic furniture as long as it's labeled outdoor somewhere on the container. You can use spray paint or brush the paint on. Find universal outdoor paint in the paint section of your local hardware store or bright universal spray paint colors at any craft store. Apply the first thin layer of paint. For spray painting, hold the can 10 inches 25 cm from the furniture surface and keep the can moving while you spray. For brushing paint on, apply paint using a thin layer that covers all surfaces and corners. Move around the furniture to make sure you haven't missed any spots. Allow your first coat to dry for 30 minutes before applying a second coat. Allow your finished furniture to dry for at least 24 hours before using it. Once both of your paint layers have dried, allow your furniture to dry in the sun for at least 24 hours. Then start planning your next patio get-together to show off your work.